JD, would you get a 300ZX, yes or no? And if so, why?
Absolutely, because they are underrated, very fast cars. Cons though is that at this age, you know, there's a lot of parts that need to be replaced. It gets very expensive, and they're pretty tough to work on.
Pros on a 300ZX.
Stock internals can handle a lot of power. We pushed them to about 700 at the wheel, you know, with just upgraded turbos, upgraded fuel system, and yeah, these are great cars, yeah, when taken care of.
So these guys can make power like no tomorrow, and you don't have to really do too much in terms of like internals, right?
Right, yeah. It's like, why get an RB or 2J when you can just get a VG30, you know? Well, right here we have this customer bought it from a previous customer that's been here before, and we're just doing a comprehensive inspection on it, you know? It's been here 10,000 miles ago, so we're just doing a full checkup and doing an oil change on it, and yeah. So we're gonna lift the car up and, you know, inspect the suspension, make sure everything's great, check for any leaks, and we'll go from there.
Trying to catch these oily hands.
So we just added some engine flush. We're gonna run it for about 10 minutes and then drain the oil.
So we're going to be doing a leak down test on this VG. We did a compression test. We want to see where we're getting a loss of compression and a loss of air. So this is the step we like to do after the compression test. So we noticed that some of the values weren't ideal, so we want to get an idea of where the problem may lie. So we've got our engine on top dead center, starting with cylinder number 1. If you're doing a leak down test on any engine, you want to find out what the firing order is. That way you can go in that order for the leak down. So Nissan V6 engines, they all have a firing order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Makes it easy. So the next cylinder we're going to test is cylinder number 2. So we're going to go ahead. We've got this hose hooked up to spark plug hole. This is what's going to tell us how much air is escaping from the cylinder, and this is where we're going to get shop air into, and we're going to have this set for 100 psi. And we'll adjust that, and so you can see the amount of air that is escaping. So we're roughly about 7%, 8% leak down. So it's above 90, which is good. Ideally, it'd be great if it was above 95, but this is decent. So from here, we can kind of get an idea of where some of the air is escaping. So we can either do that by listening to see if we get anything coming out of the crankcase, and you can kind of hear the air changed, the tone changed of the air escaping out of here once we pull the cap off. So a little bit's getting out of the rings. So again, not bad, but some of it coming out of the rings. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to cylinder number 2 next. Having JD rotate the engine, and I have the screwdriver in here to tell me once we get to top dead center on cylinder number 2. Go ahead and go back, JD. Started to go down. Oh, right there. Now go back the other way again, just a little bit. Okay. Good. Good. Yep. All right. So we'll get we got our leak down test going on cylinder number 2, and not what we want to see, of course. We got 100 psi on this side, but you can see that we're almost a little over 60% leakage. So I've got my stethoscope that we're going to use so I can listen to get an idea of where it's coming from. I can kind of tell already where I hear it. You can kind of hear it through the intake runners. So I'm going to put this on and then stick this into cylinder runner number 2's balance tube opening, and we should hear the rush of air. Yeah, so definitely get some out of the intake valves and a little bit out of the rings as well. So we'll go ahead and document that in our repair order. that we have leakage from intake valves and also the rings. Cylinder 3, here we go. Definitely better than cylinder 2. Still not great. So roughly about 16% of the air is escaping. So about 84%. Not as much as cylinder 2, but a little bit out of the intake valves. Cylinder 4, here we go. There we go, not good.
That was a bad one.
That was the worst cylinder we had as far as the compression number goes. So what was the compression number on that one, JD?
76.
So 76 PSI compression, not good. And the leak down numbers show it. So only 80% of it's leaking, 20% is remaining holding. So rings are pretty good. Definitely the valves. The rings are actually pretty quiet, so a majority of the air is coming out of the valves. So we can also go to the back of the car, stick this into the exhaust, see if we hear any air escaping through there. JD, what was our compression number for 5?
5 was 110.
110. Here we go. 85%. Leaking 15%. Let's see if we can hear where it's coming from. Essentially, the motor has issues with the valves for sure. And we'll finish up. Compression number?
It was 116.
116. Hundred. 45% leakage, sealing 55%. Pretty quiet. Yep. Intake valves. Makes me think if it had soft valves. This isn't the 90s. So regardless, it's going to need a little bit of love. All right, another flashback from the past on this one. This is a 90 300ZX twin turbo. This car we actually put together back in 2003, 2004. It was a brand new Nissan Shortblack at the time. We redid the heads, nothing crazy on the heads. Small little port and polish, cleaned up the valves. And this car has our OG Specialty Z Inconel exhaust manifolds. So those are manifolds that we were having made back 2003 to about 2006, 2007. And we had stopped production. You know, they were really, really cool. Inconel, which is an exotic stainless. This car has them. You'll be able to get to see a chance of them glow cherry red, which is really, really cool. But yeah, this car was put together a long time ago. A new owner has it now. He bought it from the owner. He actually buddies with the owner that had us, commissioned us to put it together. But yeah, a lot of old school stuff on it, really cool. Nothing fancy, Greddy Trust intercoolers, 2.5-inch exhaust all the way back, Greddy SP catback, stock intercooler piping, and Jim Wolf JWT Sport 530 turbos, old school early Nismo 555 injectors, and you know, we had powder coated some of the stuff red, polished the intake manifold, and everything's held up really well. The car sat for a good long time. Here it is, just 91 octane, nothing crazy. A couple different boost levels. We were actually able to get this up pretty high. The dyno shows about 18 pounds of boost. Using the Greddy Profec boost controller, we're reading about 16, almost 17 pounds of boost. Made 394, almost 400 wheel, 402 foot-pounds of torque. Turn the boost down to a more conservative 14, 15 pounds. We're about 387, so it didn't drop too bad. The peak torque areas did come down. You can see kind of the boost curve where it's breathing the most and making the most boost. That's where it kind of picked up more power in the mid-range areas. So the new owner, Paul, he has plans to do our intercooler piping, our new divided inlet intercoolers, and a full 3-inch exhaust. And you know, definitely wake it up. It'll be really cool to see the transformation, the difference of what the power band will do with just those simple breather mods, not changing anything else. So, because again, right now the weakest link is all the inlet piping, intercooler piping, all that stuff is hurting it as far as its flow potential. So, yeah, really happy. It's really cool to see this thing. It's probably been easily 15 years since I've seen this car. So.